Good afternoon. Today I'm speaking to Senior Sergeant Steve Carden, our new Senior Sergeant at Mansfield Police Station, and we're talking about COVID-19. And of course, we have all got a role to play, but with the metropolitan lockdown, we know people in our community are interested in how the police are checking our community isn't getting visitors from the lockdown zone. I know that some people are still confused about what are legitimate reasons for visitors to be in our shire. Can you please explain this and the regulations?
Sure,
Steve?
Councillor Attley, thanks for having me. First, I'd just like to point out that this pandemic response is led by DHHS. DHHS have got an extremely valuable website, and there's a phone number that you can contact for advice for all these rules and regulations. Our Chief Commissioner has agreed with the Chief Health Officer to assist the authorising officers with the enforcement of the Chief Health Officer's restrictions. So, in Melbourne at the moment, the lockdown zone, there are 4 reasons that people can leave their addresses within Melbourne. However, to come to a regional area, there are only 3 reasons. And those reasons are to shop for essential items, to give care, medical assistance on compassionate grounds, and to work or go to school if they can't do it from home. So you might get truck drivers coming in, people working in the industries here, they are able to come in here. It's very difficult to check all of those people. Some of them have residential addresses in Melbourne, however they're legitimately up here at this stage, which we'll go into after.
Yeah. How do you think, given what you've just said, how do you think people are behaving around this?
I think they're behaving quite well on the whole. With the enforcement that we're doing, by and large people are doing the right thing, but it's not time to put foot on the brake at the moment. We need to all keep on with it, and we'll be keeping up our enforcement strategies. I know in Melbourne, and people would have seen on television, that there's still Airbnb parties going on. There's still people out for the wrong reasons. We're not seeing that reflected in the regions at the moment.
That's good to hear, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that I'm hearing from residents about the trips that they legitimately are making to Melbourne to go to medical appointments, but they're driving back or going through and they're not going through any checking. But can you just explain what might be happening with that and the resources of police?
Yeah, sure. Obviously all resources in every situation are finite. What we're doing at the moment is a multi-pronged approach. We have 4 different operations, maybe 5 different operations now, running to try and control those lockdown areas and for checking people in the regional areas. So at the moment, the main one that pertains to us is Operation Sentinel. So that actually has police actively going around checking on people who should be self-quarantining. So we have the roadblocks run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, down at Broadford and at Coldstream. We've got rolling stops that you'll see around Mansfield. So my police are going out there every shift and just setting up blocks on the way into Mansfield on the Benalla Road at Bonnie Doon, just to try and pick up anybody who isn't in the response zone. The other thing that we're doing is responding to the reporting online, the police assistance line, which is the 131 444 number. Residents in Mansfield have been fantastic using that, and we've been able to get some good enforcement around that. So any information people can give to us, we're also acting upon that.
I think that's really important to keep everybody healthy and safe, and some people might think it's a difficult thing to do, to, well, not dob someone in, but ring that number and let you know that there's someone here that probably shouldn't be here, someone in their holiday house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think you're just reaffirming that it's really helping the police. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
And around helping the police in a way, some of the businesses are just questioning what would their role be in checking visitors.
Yep. Once again, they can get that on the DHHS website, and it's actually got a position for, you'll see a button to hit for regional and rural areas, then it'll come up with business owner responsibilities. But I can tell you that business owners do have a responsibility to bring to our notice if they believe that there's people there that are from outside, or sorry, from inside the lockdown zone. They have a responsibility to collect the phone numbers and names of anyone that stays in their establishment for more than 15 minutes.
Yep.
So as far as identification goes, they can check driver licences. If they hear someone talking, oh, we just come up from such and such,
Yep.
they can ring that 131 444. That gets triaged out and gets sent to the closest unit.
Oh, does it? That
Yeah.
makes, and that's helpful to people to know that, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, yeah, and it's been very effective. Within the Mansfield, our Mansfield response zone, we are giving out penalty notices, and by and large they're coming from community information.
That's excellent to
Yeah.
hear. And I suppose it just links into the question I was going to ask, what can Mansfield Shire residents do to assist the police? Well, you've really highlighted that, but is there anything else that we can do?
There is, and that's to stay safe. So we've got to I know we focus on the lockdown zone there, we still need to maintain our own vigilance, the 1.5 metres apart. If you're going into an Uber or something similar, or where you can't distance, the Premier just requested that even people in regional areas wear a mask if you can't maintain that 1.5 metre distance. Gatherings of more than 5 people at your home, that's still out. In a regional area, you can't do it. Gatherings of more than 10 people outdoors, still can't do it in a regional area. And gatherings of more than 50 people at a funeral, 20 people at a wedding, those things are still in there. Those rules are still in place.
That's for the regions.
For the regions.
Yeah.
By and large, I think we're tracking quite well in the regions, and people are doing a great job. And if they can keep on giving us that information, we'll be able to keep on enforcing and targeting our enforcement.
I'm really pleased to hear that you reiterating those regulations in relation. I think people probably don't think that the regions should be looking at those things, but that is important. So what's your idea around the region, travelling regionally? I mean, the Premier's really saying to people, don't travel if you don't have to.
100%, and I agree with that. If you don't have to, don't travel. Don't try and look for loopholes. There are loopholes that can become evident about being able to travel, to go to Melbourne and come back for whatever reason. I'm urging you, please don't do that.
Yep.
I myself had an appointment in Melbourne for next week. I've reassessed it. I can do it another way. I've cancelled it. So if you don't have to travel, don't find a loophole and try and do it.
And I think mostly the comments that I'm getting from people is that they're going to Melbourne or Albury or wherever it might be for medical reasons. So, I mean, that's really important that continues, because there is evidence that people aren't following up on their medical appointments, and they need to do that for their own health
Yes,
as well.
100%. You can't neglect your own other health issues because of COVID. The best thing to do is to get a confirmation from the doctor that you're going to see. And if you're a legitimate resident that was in residence in the Mansfield area prior to July the 8th, that would also be, and you intend to return to where you're staying, it would be good to get a statutory declaration signed up here to say that you are a resident up here.
Well, that's really good information. I think it'd be good to touch base with you when things change, so we can reaffirm for the community what your police service is doing and what the community can do to help you.
Yep, that would be great.
So thank you. Are there any other things that you'd like to add?
I think if we continue to work together as a community the way we have been, we should all be able to keep each other safe.
That's right. And locally, we know Mansfield and district residents will continue to be kind, as I've always said, and respectful, and support each other to do our part for the minimisation of COVID-19 numbers. We need to keep washing our hands, keep our social distancing as we're doing today, and looking out for each other. People within lockdown areas must now stay at home and only leave to shop for food and supplies, care and caregiving, exercise in their local suburb, and study and work if they can't do that at home. Exactly what Steve's just said. People within restricted areas cannot leave the area for exercise or travel, and the stay-at-home direction applies to the principal place of residence, meaning people that own more than one property cannot move between properties. We look forward to welcoming them back when the lockdown ends and the coronavirus numbers are again under control in Victoria. We all look forward to that day. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.